Let's get something straight right now. Sonic is awesome. And one of the biggest things that makes Sonic awesome, even in times when he's not, is the music. Despite being one of the most inconsistent franchises in all of gaming, the Sonic series also has some of the most consistently good music. The head-bobbing, high-adrenaline soundtracks in Sonic games are always what keep the player immersed in the experience and can give them a positive outlook on the game as a whole. That is, assuming that they've played the game past the first level. You see, one of the most important things a game can do in terms of hooking a player is to have a strong start. That way the bar can be set for the rest of the game. First impressions are everything, and in the case of Sonic, where at this point music is really the only thing that's guaranteed to be good, the soundtrack for the first level is paramount. It's what gives the player a solid perception of what the game has in store, and that's proven to be true in most cases, considering the most iconic levels and themes from most Sonic games have indeed been the first ones. With all of that said, I thought it would be fun to count down what I consider to be the best musical tracks across all Sonic games, narrowed down to those from the first levels. Yeah, that might seem like a limitation, but I want to get a point across here. Plus, I feel that might make this list more unique from other Sonic music lists out there. So with all the excuses and justifications out of the way, let's get started. This is Nerdword Entertainment's Top 10 Best Sonic the Hedgehog Level 1 Music Themes. Being the first new main Sonic game after Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World had a lot of expectations to live up to. And while in my opinion it didn't necessarily live up to those expectations, I'd say the first level certainly did. With its opening act, Windy Hill, I'd say Sonic Lost World showed off tremendous promise. It had a perfect mix of familiarity and freshness, and this was reflected in the music. Windy Hill's theme works together with the level aesthetics to introduce players to a nostalgic yet innovative Sonic experience. It's a song that's full of the spirit of adventure, and it makes the game really feel like it's going to be a good one. Whether or not it actually turned out to be one is up to you, but that's aside from the point. Bottom line, this song is great. Okay, so I guess a list like this wouldn't be complete without this song. It's really only on here for obligatory reasons, but hey, I can't deny that it's a really nice song. It's the song that introduced gamers all across the world to Sonic back in the 90s, and for a song as important as that, it's every bit as catchy and iconic as it should be. It also set the bar for high-quality music on the Sega Genesis sound card. There ain't no twang in this one, and that's one of the main things that sticks out about this song when compared to music from other Sega Genesis games. For the longest time, I thought this was an original song in Sonic Generations. You know, the collection room music. I always loved the crap out of this song, but I only just recently found out that it was a theme from Knuckles Chaotix, one of the Sonic games that absolutely no one has played. And what do you know, it's the theme for the first level, so hey, I can put it on this list, check it out, and look, there it is! I love this song for just how chill it is. Because my connection to it is through Sonic Generations, I see it as this bittersweet theme of reflection on past accomplishments. With that said, it kinda feels out of place in a first level, but hey, it's a great theme nonetheless. I'm probably still never gonna play Knuckles Chaotix though. Sonic Heroes was the first Sonic game I ever owned, and a game that I have very personal feelings for. It's a game that came along for me during a very difficult time in my life, so this game and I have a very special relationship, and I'd say everything that I love about that relationship is encapsulated in the theme song of the first level. Like the best Sonic themes, Seaside Hill has the ability to sound happy and cheerful while still staying hip and cool. It really sets the mood for Sonic Heroes as a whole, which I believe to be perfect as far as the tone for a Sonic game goes. It has a good mix between serious and comical, and adds just the right amount of glazed ham to make for one of the most hype-fueled Sonic games I've ever played. I just love the strong opening riff to the song. It hits hard right from the beginning, and it's probably the first thing you think of when this song comes to mind, and from that point onward, we've got quite the adventure ahead of us. Sonic Unleashed is one of the only Sonic games to have a soundtrack almost entirely composed of orchestral music, and for a game that features Sonic going on an epic worldwide adventure, it's only fitting for the soundtrack to be just as epic. Just like every other level in the game, Windmill Isle has a great theme song that just gives off the vibe of a grand adventure, but one other thing I like is that the song feels more restrained and held back than the other songs. It's almost like this song is teasing the adventure ahead by keeping things subtle and relaxed, while still suggesting that a journey on a grand scale is about to begin. The use of the violin is super pleasant, the melody is great to hum to, and it's one of those songs that's relaxing but also has a nice beat to it. I love songs like that, I love this song, and I love this game. Minus the Werehog. When Sonic Adventure first came out, the world had been introduced to a version of Sonic that had been more modernized for a new generation of gamers and gaming hardware. What were once pudgy cartoon designs were now slimmer, cooler looks. What was once Planet Mobius was now Planet Earth. And what were once 16-bit sounds was now full-on rock and roll. Emerald Coast wants you to know that right off the bat. That opening guitar riff sounds off, you're dropped in the middle of a beach, you take your first step forward, the melody kicks in, and next thing you know, you're playing a 3D Sonic game. Emerald Coast is great because of just how hard you can jam out to it. It's a pretty simple melody overall, but those guitar riffs are what sell it, and it makes Sonic's first full 3D level something unforgettable. Like in the case of Sonic Adventure, the soundtrack for Sonic Colors introduced fans to a fresh and new musical style for the series, and one that I don't think has been utilized enough since then. It's a style that blends rock and roll and techno seamlessly, while even adding a bit of orchestra every now and then. The head-bobbing goodness that is Tropical Resort acts not only as a great preview of the excellent music to come, but it's just a great song on its own. It's a song that really feels like it belongs in a Sonic game, and as weird as it sounds, that's a tough thing to pull off. Another thing I like is that Sonic Colors electronic tunes like this feel somewhat representative of an out-of-this-world experience, which is perfect considering the setting. I know at this point I'm just praising the soundtrack in general, but I can't stress enough how strong an opener Tropical Resort is. In fact, it just might be my favorite song in the game. Yes, I get it. We all get it. Sonic the Hedgehog, released in 2006 for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, is a bad game. It's a game that was too rushed in development to end up as anything above mediocre, and was a disappointment that tarnished Sonic's reputation nearly 10 years ago. So, with all that out of the way, Sonic 2006 has a freaking fantastic soundtrack. It's one of my favorite soundtracks in the series, and I must say, it contains quite the interesting first level theme. You might immediately think I'm talking about Wave Ocean, and you'd be half right. I mean, hey, Wave Ocean has a pretty sweet little level theme, and it starts off the game pretty well, about as well as Sonic 06 can be started out, but no. That's not the song I'm talking about. The song I'm talking about can be none other than Part 2 of Wave Ocean's theme, otherwise known as The Inlet. Representing the Mach Speed portion of Wave Ocean, this theme has got to be one of the most epic, thrill-inducing songs in Sonic history. It's so good, it can sometimes make you forget you're playing one of the most impossible to control sections in any 3D Sonic game. The fast pace of the beat and the hard riffs of the guitar allow the initial novelty of the Mach Speed section to stick around a bit longer, to the point where I'd even say that the one in Wave Ocean is actually somewhat enjoyable. If there's any testament to just how good 06's music is, in comparison to the rest of the game anyway, it's this song. I love it so much, and it just pains me that it had to be in such an unsatisfying game. The Inlet isn't just one of my favorite level 1 themes, it's one of my favorite musical themes in Sonic history. You all know the game. You all know the song. Heck, right now you're probably trying to keep singing along even though I've already started talking over it. Just about every modern Sonic fan has memorized every word of this song, and for good reason. I think it's safe to say that Sonic Adventure 2 has quite possibly the best opening sequence of any Sonic game ever made. The City Escape level itself starts off by dropping you from the sky into a 3D snowboarding level. Only not on snow and a snowboard, but instead on asphalt and a piece chipped off of a helicopter. At this point, Sonic has already established himself to mean business, and matching his cocky, cool guy attitude is a modern contemporary cityscape environment and a hard-rocking nonsense anthem of escaping from it. As much as none of this makes any sense at all, at the same time, it just makes sense. It's an experience that seems so wrong, but feels so right. The lyrics are representative of Sonic's character, the beat is fast-paced and energetic, and the spirit of adventure is certainly there. Escape from the City is also notable for being the first and really one of the only lyrical themes in any Sonic level. That alone was enough for this song to make an impact, and I'm still feeling its impact to this day. Can we, please get another Sonic game with lyrical theme songs again? Like seriously, I'm missing that. Sometimes, music can be the heart and soul of a game, or even the heart and soul of an entire franchise. This has never been more true than with the recently released Sonic Runners. Acting as both the main theme of the game and as the theme for Windy Hill, the first level you play, the absolute best level 1 theme ever in a Sonic game is a song called Beyond the Speed of. In a game that simply represents everything I love about Sonic, this song certainly seems as though it had the same goal in mind, and I'd even say that despite having no lyrics, the song itself gives off a rather bittersweet message. As you all may know, the Sonic game to come out before Sonic Runners was the infamous Sonic Boom, a game that not only received horrible critical reception, but also contained no soul. Sonic's soul is in its music, and along with everything else it did wrong, Boom simply didn't have a substantial soundtrack. This made Sonic Boom a game that completely stripped Sonic of all he was known for, and made Sonic look more defeated than ever. But then Sonic Runners came along with this song. Windy Hill's theme doesn't just capture Sonic's attitude and the spirit of adventure once again, but with its rising and falling instrumentals and clever use of the piano, it creates a feeling of hope and optimism. A feeling that even though Sonic may trip over a few bumps and cracks along the way, he will never stop running, and his adventures will go on forever. And in a game where you're endlessly running, it's kind of funny how fitting that is. This song captures everything a Sonic song should, and it's a great opener to what turned out to be a pretty solid mobile game. But what makes it number 1 on this list is those things in addition to the real-world connection this song seems to make. It's a song that managed to come along at exactly the right time. Would it have made a bigger impact if it had appeared in the next console Sonic game instead of one for smartphones? Yeah, probably, but that doesn't stop it from being as amazing as it is. Beyond the Speed of is simply brilliant. I could listen to this song for hours and... oh, yeah, I have. I've heard a lot of great Sonic songs in my day, but only a few times have I heard any that have made me feel so hopeful, so reassured. and oh so satisfied. Beyond the Speed of is now the theme that I consider to be the main theme of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. It took a long time for another song like that to come along, and I'm glad it's this one. I'm also glad that being a Sonic fan has allowed me to listen to such great music over the years. Sonic might be a franchise that's really struggling, and I mean really struggling, and being a fan of the franchise is pretty tough these days. But what I think is great is that no matter what, we'll always have some great music to go back to. I'm sure that one of these days, the quality of the actual Sonic games, or just the publicity surrounding them, will one day be on par with just how consistently great all of his music has been. Maybe that'll be the day when Sonic finally gets back up on his feet. The day where this series becomes universally respected again, and considering all the stuff behind the scenes that's been happening lately, I have confidence that things can only get better from here. At this point, there's nowhere to go but up, or in Sonic's case, nowhere to run but forward.